So just make sure you you do that. So back to this video, right? The reason why I'm talking about this video, I had a few people reach out to me. They said, "Joe, I love what you do. Before I start spazzing on these cops, what do you think?" So I had a few back and forth conversations through DMs with people who follow. So before I started talking about this video, I had to do a little bit of research, and just the mere fact that from state to state, the laws vary, sometimes slightly. Petty larceny, grand larceny. So you always got to take the location into consideration when you viewing these videos. Now, talking about this video with this little boy, I think he's 8 or 9 years old. The store owner called the police and said a group of kids came in the store and grabbed some candy, chips, and they left. They left the store. Police would happen to be in the area, so when they came in contact with the owner, he was like, they stole something. The officer then proceeded to address the group. They started taking off. One of the kids, I guess, wasn't pedaling so fast, also able to get out and just grab him. And then him and the store owner and the cop, the cop's getting to the bottom of it. He's just on scene. You see people running. He's saying, "Get him." So he hurries up and grabs the kid. He says, "Yeah, he stole something." So now the store owner now has an option, either to prosecute or no, not prosecute. A lot of people looked at this incident. I had somebody send me a message saying, "Yo, if this was a white kid, they wouldn't have done that." I said, "Who wouldn't have done it?" They said, "This is not even the officer's call. Officers have discretion, but only on certain things." This particular incident, it's totally up to the owner whether they want to prosecute a crime that was against them. So you got to keep that in mind. If the owner says, "Nah, just take them home, talk to the parents," then that's what the officer can do. That's an option. If he says, "I want to prosecute," and the officer still feels like he doesn't even want to prosecute, the officer now can get in trouble for not prosecuting, because we have a complainant, we have a victim of a crime. It's the job of the officer to actually help that prosecution from that private citizen, regardless of the emotions behind it. If the owner says, "I want to prosecute," the officer can have it. Officer doesn't have to feel like, "Come on, it's a bag of chips. You really want to prosecute?" The owner say, "Yeah, I can prosecute." The officer has to go on with the prosecution. But for this particular incident, the store owner didn't want to prosecute, just wanted to take the kid home, just wanted the cops to talk to the kid about this, about the incident at the store. So what happens is the kid doesn't want to go. It's very obvious, he's mad, he's upset, which is totally understanding. Kids don't want to go. They're scared at that age. Everybody has inputted social media, everybody, as this type of interaction doesn't go good. So of course he's scared. He doesn't know what's going on. So now the officer has to physically grab him and put him in the car, right? People are seeing his hands behind his back because that's the position that the officer is holding him in to go put him in a car. This little kid is not handcuffed. People think he's handcuffed because his hands is behind his back. It's just the position that the officer's holding. If you look at the kid's feet as the officer's putting him in, he's resisting to actually move. So the officer actually has to kind of force him to go in the back of the car. You had a citizen, right, who was also there. He was also recording. Looking at what he said could definitely like make this situation worse than what it is. You grabbed him off a bike. Yeah, the kid was trying to get away. He had to go grab him off the bike. Now you cuffed him and you put him in the car. He wasn't cuffed. You going to jail, you put him in jail for a bag of chips. He was not even going to jail before the guy even showed up. The officer was actually taking him home. Now you had an additional officer come and had a back and forth with him, which exacerbated this whole incident when he was like, "Well, when he's stealing out of your house," then that whole conversation didn't need to take place, because all that officer did was exacerbate a situation that shouldn't have been. I've been in situations in patrol where I go to a store and then all of a sudden you see the owner there is like, this kid stole something. I have came out of my pocket and paid for small items. Look, what are you doing? Why are you stealing? Come on, let me take you home. Go home, talk to the parent, and tell them what's going on. You don't want to put a kid in a system at that age for something that small, bag of chips. But that's just me. But at the same time, you don't want this kid stealing. So a parent needs to get involved. I also, depending on where the parent lived, I had an officer come back, right? Yes, I'm talking about the kid. I had an officer go by the house because it was distance away, grab the parent and bring him to the store. So the parent now can actually talk with the owner and the police, myself, and talk to the kid in reference to how do we prevent this from happening again. Now, this whole situation with the cops, the problem is that the original cop that's had this conversation, he just made 10 times worse. The owner of the store had all the power in this situation, whether to prosecute or not prosecute. He chose not to prosecute, which was a good thing because now this ID, he's a little boy. The kid wasn't in handcuffs. I didn't see that. I have no evidence. So if you got evidence he was in handcuffs, then you need to show me because I looked at this video 1,000 times. I even made some contacts. The kid's not in handcuffs. I don't see no evidence to support the handcuffs. Now, he didn't even get arrested. He was taken home. So it's obviously you don't know the elements of this incident. The officer put the kid's bike in a police car, put the kid in the back seat, strapped him in, and took him home to his father. I seen additional video of the actual incident where they showed the officer arriving at the house, pulling the bike out, and actually taking the kid home. Is it still freezing or is it okay now? Yeah, he's not in handcuffs. You're absolutely right. Okay, if that's what you think, that's fine. You believe what you want. I'm not here to try to change your mind. I'm here to pass information on that most people don't know and don't have. So we have an incident where looking at it without having any additional information, it does look like, especially with the narration of the dude holding the camera, that the way he narrated and then the cop engaged him, if this kid, all of that exacerbated a situation that shouldn't have been. Now, let me show y'all a video that maybe bring a little bit. Yeah, the cops should take him home. The cops did take him home. The cops took him home, talked to his father. Now, the father was cool with the police until he got up with the guy with the video who pretty much told his side of the story that wasn't consistent with the video. He said he cuffed him. There's no evidence in that video to show he was cuffed. The reports, nobody, including the people there, nobody said he was cuffed. People just assumed he was cuffed because he had his hands, he's being held from the back. He wasn't in cuffs. So let me show you this video real quick that I found, and we'll talk about a little bit more about it right after this video.
What are y'all doing? What is y'all doing? Guess what I'm doing. Hey, you're like a baby to me. Why you? That's what I'm doing. I don't know what you doing. I just see you snatching him up off the. So what? So what's going on then? You're stealing stuff. If he breaks into your house, you steal something. Nah, man. What you selling a bag of chips? So y'all treat me like a whole cold-blooded fucking killer? Keep walking, dude. You don't even know what you're Keep walking. I know what I just came up and see. I know the fuck I just came up and see. Okay, what'd you see? I see y'all snatching him up the bike like you're a fucking grown-ass man. Ain't he saying it wasn't him? Fuck is y'all doing? Crazy. How old is he? 10 years old? Fuck is y'all talking about, man? That's against the law. Fuck is y'all doing? You cannot put that. What is y'all doing? Take the fucking chips. If he stole some chips, I'll pay for him. I'll pay for him. You don't even know where he lives. Y'all just throwing him in the fucking car. That's what they do. They come here. Fuck is y'all doing? Leave him alone. No camera. That's all we can do. He a kid. That's me. Ain't he saying it wasn't him? Fuck is y'all doing? Crazy. How old is he? 10 years old? Fuck is y'all talking about, man? That's against the law. Fuck is y'all doing? You cannot put that. What is y'all doing? Take the fucking chips. If he stole some chips, I'll pay for him. I'll pay for him. You don't even know where he lives. Y'all They come here. What is y'all doing? Bro. Leave him alone. Show camera. That's all we can do. He a kid. Throw some chips. I'll pay for him. I'll pay for him. You don't even know where he lives. Y'all just throwing him in the fucking car. That's what they do. They come here. What is y'all doing? Bro. Leave him alone. Show camera. That's all we can do. He a kid. He come. That's what they do. They come here. What is y'all doing? Bro. Leave him alone. Show camera. That's all we can do. He a kid. Bro. Leave him alone. Show camera. That's all we can do. He a kid. He a kid.
What are y'all doing?
What is y'all doing?
That's what I'm doing.
Hey, you're like a baby to me. Why you?
That's what I'm doing.
I don't know what you're doing. I just see you snatch him up off the. So what? So what's going on then? He's stealing stuff.
Okay, so I didn't see cuffs. The report's showing he's not cuffed. The kid got taken home and talked to the father. The father was appreciated that the owner of the store didn't press charges. Now, people were saying that, and, you know, I had a few back and forth comments in the DMs about how this was a white kid, the cops, so they did it. Cops didn't have no options here. It was the owner. So I asked the person who sent, I said, well, if it was the owner, then the owner was racist. Is that what you're saying? And he was like, why? I was like, but the owner holds all of the weight here because the owner's the one victimized. It's totally up to the owner whether they want to prosecute or not. Most cops, when it comes down to, and I've known a lot of cops, don't want to deal with kids this age because it requires a lot of paperwork. And why? For a bag of chips. No one likes that. Most cops hate dealing with juveniles because juveniles takes a lot more paperwork than anything. So this whole notion that they wanted to do this for a bag of chips, you know, I tell it like it is. I tell you about the culture, my experiences. I tell you right or wrong. This doesn't fit that criteria. So we got everybody running around talking about, oh, this was a little white kid. If you think this is a little white kid and it'd been any different, then we would have to be addressing the owner of the store because the cops can't do nothing without the victim. The victim is the store owner. If the store owner says prosecute, white kid or not, they have to take the kid to jail and prosecute. The store owner says no, then no, you can't prosecute. Even if the cop wanted to prosecute, if the store who's the victim is the store owner. If the store owner says no, there's nothing the police can do. So when we start, really diving into understanding these assessments, we got to be careful because when you start saying things that technically is not true, then it just defeats the purpose. Paperwork, that's the issue. More like the teens' emotions and reaction. Kids are predictable. Yes. It's a lot here for a bag of chips. I'm glad that the owner didn't want to prosecute because you don't want this. This doesn't even make no sense. This kid at this age in the system, paperwork trail. No, I paid responding to calls like this. I paid for chips, candies when it happened. I also took kids home like this when it happens. I mean, we got to be able to have a true balance when we having this conversation about what's really. Oh, what's up, Sherry? What's really police brutality? You hear that these cops are on the street. I see why, because they actually didn't do anything wrong. The officer who engaged in the conversation, he wasn't all that tactful, but I wouldn't have gotten to a back and forth with a guy with a camera who's obviously not aware of the circumstances that surrounded it. He's talking about he paid for the chips. It had nothing to do with him paying for the chips. The owner already just said, no, don't worry about it. Just take him home, talk to his parents, tell him that he's in the store, and I think it's a, community store. The last thing this owner wants to do is be the one who prosecuted this little kid. And then now the community is looking at him like, yo, you couldn't let that slide? So you definitely got to be careful on how we addressing these issues. They snatched him on the bike because he was trying to get away. Okay, stop him and ask him a few questions. If the kid is trying to run from you, you have to grab him off the bike from running. There's no traffic stop and he pulls over and then, can I ask you a few questions? You pull up, the owner saying, grab him, they stole something. So the cops go, they trying to get away. You have to grab the kid. There's no way to stop that kid from fleeing if you don't grab him. You have a larceny, right, of a bag of chips. Real minor offense, but it's still a crime. So it's the officer's job to apprehend, right, this kid who stole the chips. Grabbed him, took him inside, talked with the owner. Owner, what you want to do? Don't want to press charges. I want his parents to be aware. Good. Owner was good, on point. Excellent. Kid didn't want to go, so the cop actually had to hold him because the kid didn't want to go. So he drags, he picks him up and kind of drags his feet. You can see the feet being dragged because he's trying to stop him from putting him in a car. They put him in a car. They take his bike, put it into a police car, and they take him home. Now you have the other officer, like I said, engaging some back and forth with the guy with the camera who's saying, "I'll pay for it. There's no need for you to pay for it. What are you doing?" He's a little kid. That's why he's not being arrested. That's why he's taken home. You took an incident and made it a national incident, and this is not, when we go hard at bad policing, we need to make sure it's bad policing. This wasn't it. You had an officer that didn't have tact with a conversation, but hey, this is not police brutality. It's not excessive. There's nothing. This kid is not arrested. He got taken to his parents and his dad, and his dad actually thanked the officers and went back to the store, thanked the store for not prosecuting his kid. And now all of a sudden, this video went viral for a reason that we let this guy narrate false allegations. This was going on, a day now, 2 days? I've been getting a lot of messages. I always try to, before I just throw it on, and I try to get as much information I can about the video, about the incident. So when I come to you with a little bit more information, because when it first happens, a lot of people don't have it. We can look at a lot of these videos and we can see we don't need a backstory. It's clear, cut and dry, not policy, not police procedures. We look at an incident and we go, look, his actions is not consistent of what he was trained, what police officer should be doing. This particular incident, it required more information. I got that information. Now I'm sharing it with you. I'm not here to debate you. You can take the information and do what you want, but my job is to give you the information. So I appreciate that. And I'm going to show you another video that I found. Check out this video right here about this particular incident.
Wow. Good Morning America one, right?
The what?
Good Morning America.
Yeah. Yeah, Good Morning America had a really good story on it too. So check this out.
Of a police officer in Syracuse, New York, putting a crying 8-year-old boy into the back of a cruiser after the boy was reportedly accused of stealing a bag of chips. TJ Holmes joined us with this story, TJ, and this is a big issue.
It is, but here's a story that the child was not handcuffed. He was not arrested. Police actually drove him home to his father. He's not facing any charges. It seems like that could and should be the end of the story. But this story comes with video. What is now a bona fide viral video in which you see and hear a screaming 8-year-old being handled by police. A video that has now conjured up all too familiar emotions and sparked an all too familiar debate. Millions of people online have seen
What is y'all doing?
and are reacting to this video of an 8-year-old child stopped by Syracuse police.
You're stealing stuff. If he breaks into your house, you steal something. Nah, man, we stole a bag of chips.
The boy screaming and sobbing while being placed in the back of a police cruiser by 3 officers after they say he stole a bag of chips from a local store.
What is y'all doing? He like a baby to me. Why you? That's what I'm doing. I don't know what you doing. I just said you snatching my partner. No. So what's going on then? If he stole some chips, I'll pay for him. You already know where he lives.
Kenneth Jackson recorded the incident and spoke with GMA overnight.
I have to, because at that moment I'm looking around and there's no one out there besides myself at the time. More audience was starting to gather, but no one was actually intervening.
It was his video that prompted a passionate online debate.
What are you doing to that young boy?
About what the appropriate course of action should be in this situation.
Hey, I'll walk him home. How about that? We'll walk him home.
We have a policing problem when it comes to police in the community. And clearly, as the world can see, there's a big disconnect.
In a statement, the Syracuse mayor says the body camera footage demonstrates no handcuffs were used by officers at any time. Goes on to say what occurred demonstrates the continuing need for the city to provide support to our children and families and to invest in alternative response options to assist our officers.
Call your sergeant. Call your sergeant, man.
The officers later dropped off the young boy to his father, who at the time said the officers were friendly, but after seeing the video wants to file a complaint with police. Syracuse police said the incident is under investigation and they cannot comment. And you all, the mayor said in a statement that the officer knew the child from previous interactions, but didn't go into further detail. You also see the officers there at the end. They take the time, they put the kid's bike in the back and take him home, which you also don't hear. It's a longer video. The guy taking the video says, I'm taking this video to help to make sure you all don't kill him, because that's what you all do. Now, a video like this, it's impossible to see them as isolated incidents. It's impossible to see them not in that prism of recent history and incidents and trauma that a lot of people in this country have gone through. When you see something like that.
But in this case,
look, what else do you want? But still, again, given recent history, when people view things like this and you say, it's an 8-year-old child screaming, could you just talk to them? There's something better that could have been done, not necessarily saying the officer did something wrong, but that's the debate we will always have. Cameras are everywhere, and this is just, it's happening once again. The officers do remain on duty, I do want to say as well.
Never ending debate.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So y'all saw that. Y'all got it firsthand from what? Good day. Good Morning America.
Good morning, America.
Good Morning America. They did their own investigation. They also, the news would be love to tell you that the kid was in handcuffs, but the kid wasn't in handcuffs. The kid and his bike got taken home. I mean, if anybody have kids and you remember when they was 8, 9 years old, they did something bad. It's just not, you might have a tantrum moment. That's why the kid wasn't walking to the car. The officer had to actually hold him to get him in the car. So we got to be careful when we start talking about, what's right. I went back and forth with somebody and they was just like, if it was a white kid, I was like, what? If it was a white kid, according to the request of the owner of the store, would have been taken home. Like we don't have no evidence to support it would have went any other way. But the kid was taken home. Parents, the father was notified, and the kid didn't get charged, which was a good thing. Right. The kid, thank you, Johnny. The kid got scared because he got caught. That's more reasonable. Yeah. So we gotta be careful. We gotta be real careful. I know there's a lot of emotions every time we see it, but we can't be so quick to throw it into one bucket and say, yo, this is racism. And if it was a white kid, there's nothing to support that looking at that particular video. And that video went viral about racist white cop. It was a white kid. It was a white kid. Well, most people think the kid, when I was looking at all the comments, most people think the kid got arrested, and the kid didn't even get arrested. He got sent home to his father, which if anybody have any children out here, you would want your kid to be brought home. You don't want him in the system. So they actually did what they had supposed to do. Now, the cop going in back and forth, I think he caused a little bit more of a problem than actually helping the situation. But for the most part, the cops did what they supposed to have did with this video. Yeah, I know, Sherry. That's why when I was sent, I was like, I got to see more of it because I don't know. Let me look into it. Because a lot of people send me videos, and if there's not enough information, I start researching it and looking for more information. So you're 100% right. But we got to allow that process to take place when we're not 100%. When we're 100%, or when I'm 100% of something, I don't need to go further. I'll just post it. We'll talk about it. But this particular video, there was not a lot for me to grab from it. So that's why it took me a day to try to gather as much information. So when I come to y'all, I come to y'all correct. But that's pretty much it. I just had to share that with y'all. So anybody got any questions, any answers? Want to come up? Yeah. Sherry, you're right. I didn't like what I saw at the beginning either. And then I was like, what, for a bag of chips? I said, nah, this can't be right. Like, this is crazy. Like, I was like, so when I started looking into it a little bit more, then I started realizing that yeah, this is not good. And that officer who went and engaged the guy with the camera, he made it 10 times worse. But that's pretty much it. I didn't either, Sherry. I know you wasn't, Les. I know you was tight on that one. But y'all keep the videos going. Please continue to like and share. I think I'm going through a little shadow ban period now. A lot of people had a lot of people reach out and say, "Look, I'm not even seeing your videos no more." A few people said, or the system just unfollowed, so they had to refollow me. So I think I'm getting shadow banned again. The YouTube is actually growing really, really well and really fast. So make sure you continue to support the YouTube as well. Yeah, I know, Sherry. Les was ready to fight. It was crazy, right? Because I told her, I said, yo, why don't you go down there? I said, I'll meet you in front of the store. She done got down there. The older were like, what are you talking about? I didn't prosecute that kid. I sent him home to his parents. So, yeah. So we just got to be on point, y'all, when we got this fight. Because when we say something is what it is, we got to make sure it's that. Because if it's not, then we just take 2 steps back. Because you got a lot of people who are going to capitalize on this. They go, oh, see what I'm saying? Y'all crying and y'all thinking this, that, and that. And they're going to try to capitalize on it. So y'all know who that is. Y'all know there's a few of them out there. I think there's a fine line between corrections and creating fear. The kid will probably be terrified of police. Yes. And if the parents is the main thing. I noticed that if parents are involved, which the father was. I'm glad he was the one that was home and he took him to him. And the father can actually give that child a much understanding of the situation. This could be a really good learning example for that kid, to try to help him to make sure that he doesn't do this in the future. Because what you want to do is get him at that age. So you get him at that age, you start doing your corrective actions. It's a lot easier correcting him at that age than when he's 16 years old. It's going to be a lot harder. And so everything went well with this kid. He didn't catch no case. He was taken home, scared straight. Yo, you remember that back in the day? That was a really good show. I was actually pretty impressed with that. Oh, so you want to apologize, huh, Liz? Yeah, he went through it. Little man went through it. I hope it's enough, right, to discourage him from doing that in the future. But it's all about trying to, at that age, trying to correct him, and prevent him from continually doing things like that. So if anybody don't have any other questions, any comments, then we're going to be out until the next live. Appreciate you guys, and I will see you on the next live. Remember, it's okay to fight for your rights and stand up police, but the cop has the home court advantage on the side of the road. Don't push it so hard that you get one of these cats that's in fear of their life because you yelling and screaming, and they like, oh, you're being aggressive. I need to actually protect my life because I'm in fear and shoot you, and you become a hashtag. Then we got to sit here and talk about and strategize on how to fight for justice for your family. Don't do that. More cops are getting suspended, getting charged, getting fired, getting convicted now more than any other time in the future. So with that said, be safe. Always make it home. Love you guys.